This is the XNC Podcast, your Xbox newscast featuring Colteastwood, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. West Coast and 8 p.m. East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, the XNC Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with Colteastwood's Xbox Newscast.
Hey, how are you doing? This is Cole Eastwood. Welcome to the XNC, the Xbox Newscast podcast. This is a weekly podcast that talks about the hottest and the craziest gaming news of the week. And I've got some very special guests, some people that I've known ever since I came into this community about 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm very happy to announce Erica's for the win. How you doing, Erica?
Hello. Hi. Doing good. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, I've never actually been on like an actual Xbox-centric podcast, as far as I know.
Oh yeah, this is
like
gonna be
a
crazy
definitive.
Yeah, we have a really great chat. You're gonna get to know some really excited people and some crazy wild-eyed people that I would call good friends. I've also got one of them is King David, a true real-life friend of mine, King David of Iron Lords Podcast. How you doing, King?
I'm doing fantastic. Like I was telling you before we went on air, I was just looking at our picture, and I was like, why didn't we take more pictures? You know, I think that's a guy thing, because, you know, guys like, oh, I don't want to impose, you know, type of thing. And I was just like, man, you know what? The next time I hang out with Colt, we're going to take more pictures because, you know, sometimes you like to look back on all the memories and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, good memories that we do have. So, yeah.
I was super shy. I didn't know what to do. I was kind of scared to talk to everybody. I was the new guy there in LA. Erica, have you been to E3?
I have once. 2015, one time. Yeah,
okay.
It's been a minute, but yeah.
Did you like shake hands and hug everybody you could find, or were you the shy girl?
Kind of in between. When I knew, you know, certain people, I wasn't too shy. That's the great part about those events, is just meeting people and hanging out and networking. It's so fun.
He's going to say he was super shy. Okay, so he was the new kid on the block, but he was super shy, but he was probably the most known. All right, because, you know, the voice and his avatar. And what was shocking the hell out of me is like, I'm like, your avatar looks just like you. Like, I'm like, it's absolutely insane. It just blew my mind. And you know, like from that moment forward, we was just like, let's stick around, let's go see stuff together. So it was, you know, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool.
It is amazing. I hope it comes back. Erica, do you think we're going to get E3 next year?
I hope so. I mean, if the world gets better, I would like to go again, you know, and just have that traditional experience. But I mean, the digital thing's not too bad either. So as long as it keeps going, that's our Super Bowl, right? So I like it.
Yeah,
I like E3.
Yeah, I think E3 is going to continue. I want us to be able to meet back up. But
I wanted to devolve back into what it originally was, just for journalists, you know, and media only. And I think it would do that because Lord Attic brought up a great point that if it's for business and for work, then you can impose those type of rules as far as masks and as far as vaccinations go. But, you know, to try to do that widespread to the public, I think that's when you start to cross lines and things like that. So if you say it's, you know, for media and for journalists and stuff like that, I think it becomes a little bit more intimate. Those people that are there understand, and anybody workplace right now, some workers and some employers are asking for vaccinations. So it's not out of the norm that way, but it's a little bit out of the norm to ask the public to do so. So if it can get to that point, and then I think it can build from there, like a steady build to get the public back in. But I think we need to reset, get back to the base, get the journalists in. And I really don't like the digital stuff too much. I know it's a necessary evil at this point, but talking to a developer, seeing his game, seeing the passion, there's nothing like that. And to have that bounce back off of each other, I think that is very important, especially in our largest medium. We are the largest medium, right? Above movies and stuff like that. So I think that is necessary to have that interaction.
Okay. Well, I mean, I want everyone to be able to go back, but Baby Steps is pretty good recommendations. But E3 is a way. We just finished the last one a couple months ago, and but today on Xbox Newscast, one of the big topics we're going to talk about to get the audience rolling. We've got 300 people here getting started with XNC tonight. One of the things we're going to talk about is this big, massive Halo Infinite information, them choosing to go ahead and push forward with the game. There will be a debate of sorts today, I think, as we kind of talk about it. It's sort of settled out over the weekend, but we want to get into that today. We also want to talk about Gamescom, but we're going to start off with a couple of things to get us eased in before we start butting heads. It is going to be a really good show. Erica, I want to ask you to kind of get the audience warmed up. For those who don't know you, what's your background in the gaming community, and what are you doing to be out there and share with what you're doing, I guess?
Okay, what am I doing? Okay, so I've been on YouTube for a minute. I would say like 10 years. Started kind of baby steps, but now I'm just fully in making videos. I cover a lot of games that I'm passionate about. I'm kind of known as the Souls Queen. I do a lot of Dark Souls-like games coverage, Metroidvanias, and stuff like that. Challenging games is kind of like my thing. Boss fights, how to beat the bosses, things like that. That's kind of my, I guess, expertise, for lack of a better word. So that's my thing. I love doing that stuff. I'm also a big Gears fan, and I think I'm going to bring in that Gears experience into this Halo conversation, because I feel like that's where I come from. And so I do see a lot of relatable things in terms of the fan bases. So yeah, I love doing this stuff. I've been doing it for a minute. And like I said, I went to E3 once, haven't been back since. And so those are kind of my goals, to kind of get back into those events again, meet people like you guys, and just do this thing. I love gaming. So talking about it is just so natural to me. And I just want to do it all the time. Yeah. So that's me in a nutshell.
Well, what have you been playing lately? Like, there's been a lot of games that have come out lately, and a lot of people have been bouncing around a lot of new games, finishing them as quickly as possible. What's been your big game you've been playing lately?
Okay, well, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima DLC. That was my game of the year last year. Love Ghost, so I'm back in there playing that. The game's beautiful as always. Other than that, I've started 12 Minutes, which is very interesting. I streamed it. I'm kind of holding it off till I stream again, but I did complete one ending. And that game is a trip. Let me tell you, that very, very interesting game. Other than that, though, I beat Grime, which is like a Metroidvania game. I just beat that, did a review on it. And here and there, kind of dabbling with certain games like Halo and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of all over the place trying to keep up, because there's so many games right now. And there's another one, Song of Iron, that is coming out in like 7 days, 8 days, something like that. So I'm just kind of like trying to keep pace with everything and beat games in time. But I also don't like to rush. So I'm sort of in the middle of things. Yeah. But it's a good time to be a gamer right now. This year's been really, really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
really
we were talking before the show that you haven't played a lot of Halo, so now you're kind of getting to know Halo multiplayer. You play a lot of Gears, so that's like a total shift. So
yes.
Have you been having fun doing that?
Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm playing with some friends, and they kind of, carry me and make it fun. So I've been enjoying the shift, even though it's frustrating. It's still fun at the same time, I guess. Yeah, because I've been a little upset with Gears. They call me the Gears refugee. I'm like moving to other things, and I'm like, let's play some Halo. You guys, let's play something else, because I'm just trying to like get away, and that's just for other reasons. It's a whole other topic, but yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting. Yeah.
All right. Well, a lot of people here know King David. King David of the Iron Lords podcast. You guys have been making big moves. What's been your big claim to fame lately on the channel with the rest of the fellas?
Oh, well, besides KOS, King of the Statues. If you saw, you can see my Darth Maul in the back. I debuted him on my other podcast that I do is DCX Open Mic, but we rebranded. We're called the Legion of Doom now. That's Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a statue show that we talk about entertainment. We talk about statues. Sometimes I give a little bit of comic knowledge and stuff like that because I'm a super geek nerd. For people that is like, really? Yeah, I am. I have a ton of comic books. I read them. I'm heavily into these statues and the lore that is behind them and video games and stuff like that. So, Iron Lords podcast, they call me the prophet of Xbox. I don't like to pigeonhole myself in the prophet of Xbox. I just like to predict the industry as a whole and where we're going. So that's where a lot of my stuff lies. My stuff lies in looking at the industry, analyzing where we're going, what's the projections, where we should be in the next couple of years. And a lot of times, at least 95% of the times, I'm right. Asa from Gaz is 96% of the time right. So he has me by 1%. But yeah, basically that's about it. On Iron Lords podcast, we are a multi-branded podcast where we talk about PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC stuff, and whatever's going on in the industry. So we're not really a central like gaming console. Whereas I primarily, you see the X here and the chain. I'm an Xbox dude only because, to me, they're the spiritual successor to Sega in some weird form for myself. So a lot of Sega titles gravitated towards the Xbox platform before they migrated to the PlayStation platform. And a lot of those titles endeared themselves to me in that space. And I just kind of wanted revenge against Sony because I felt like Sony kind of pushed my Sega out. So actually I gravitated.
You're holding grudges over there, King.
Of course, sir. Of course.
I was an NES guy, when I was just a scrawny little a young lad. I was, and you were on the Sega, so.
I was totally Nintendo too. It was really no wars back then. I mean, we had Sega does and Nintendo don't, right? We had that stuff, but at the same time, I have both of them in my house, and I always felt like, Nintendo did the light, fun stuff, and Sega did, the teen stuff, the little bit of hardcore, right? So we had this nice little balance, and then along came Sony, and Sony did both genres really well. They actually merged the two, and I love them for doing that. But at that same time, Sega had a lot of internal struggles. I didn't know at that time. I'm young. Come on, man. And they really did it to themselves. It wasn't Sony.
Well, I mean, the financials shouldn't bug you. Shouldn't really be a big deal when you're a kid.
No,
it's strange that the financial woes of a company will be affected. They'll affect us as we talk on social media.
Yeah, right.
Back then, we didn't care back then, or we didn't know. I had no idea. That Sega stuff, I had no idea. I was playing Dreamcast like nothing was happening.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, what? There were more games. Like,
yeah.
It really is. Yeah, it really is the good old days. We'll get into that too. We got Rob Jones has a £5 super chat. Thanks, Rob. He's got this one directed straight to King. He says, Colt, great panel. Hey, King Darth Maul had me tripping. Then behind you, he's playing 12 minutes. It's a good game. Looking forward to a packed holiday for games. And there is a packed holiday. We talk about the exclusives, right, Erica? We talk about who's, PlayStation has this, Xbox has that, Nintendo's got these. But what we forget are the multiplats, like the big AAA blockbusters. Are there, what blockbuster non-exclusives, Erica, are you looking forward to from now until we get into Christmas? Have you got anything clocked?
Just a little game called Battlefield 2042.
Yes.
I love Battlefield. That's my first person shooter of choice. So I'm I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait for that one. Other
right.
than that, I have to think about it. I know I'm looking forward to some exclusives, like Forza. That's one. I don't play Call of Duty, so I'm not getting that. I don't know.
That's all
I
right.
have to think about it because there's some indies kind of in there. Oh, Kenna, I guess technically that's an
Oh, yeah.
exclusive.
Yes.
I mean, multi-plat, sorry, PC and
Yeah.
PlayStation. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing that. That's coming up very soon. So
Yeah,
beyond,
September.
yeah, beyond that, it's kind of hazy. I'm just like, okay, whatever's coming, I'll be there, but I just can't.
There's too many.
Yeah, I
right?
can't keep up.
Yeah.
I really can't.
What about you, King? What's your big blockbuster multi-plat that you're looking forward to this year?
Well, besides Battlefield, I just saw the Rainbow Six deep dive they did into the next season, and the Extraction. It really piques my interest. 120 frames per second, get in with your team instead of the breach and clear, and fighting against another team. You're actually going against the game. It looks really intriguing to me. Then I was looking at Hoods, and then their season is about to start. So I really want to get into that. Right now I'm playing Cursed, so I'm waiting for a little bit more of their season to flesh out for the rest of the year. I do want to say Call of Duty, just because I'm one of those dudes. I won't play the multiplayer, but I will play the single player campaign just to see where the story goes. And I think Battlefield and Call of Duty does that very well. They tell a very rich, deep story, and I'm just probably in the minority when it comes to it, that I won't never touch the multiplayer. Battlefield, yes. Battlefield, Iron Lords will get together and we'll do that stuff, and we have all this big team battles and all that other stuff. But the story, I just like to put the headphones on and the lights down low and play this interactive movie that's going to take me on a journey. And that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for those interactive moments that I can have quiet peace to myself. And that 12 minutes that I'm playing right now, like Erica said, it is a mind trip, like an actual mind trip.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for it. Like, I mean, thumbs up or thumbs down. You guys enjoying the experience? Like,
Yes.
It's so polarizing.
It is polarizing. Going into it, because I did see, the review scores and some people hating it, some people loving it. There's like 9s on one side, 9s and 10s, and then it's like horrible on the other side of it. I'm like, what am I going to feel? So I went into it, thinking like, okay, I'm going to feel one of these ways. And it started off kind of slow, just trying to get through the puzzles and put things together. But once you start to make it click a little bit, and then it becomes addictive. Like, okay, I found out this little tidbit. Okay, now I can use that for this. And it's just like one thing after another. And then you start to really figure things out. And it's awesome. It's pretty good. I like it.
I think it's best played with a mouse and keyboard. To be honest with you, because it's kind of cumbersome playing with your controller, because there's a lot of point, drag, and click, and it's very time oriented. And if you miss these cues and you're not on time, I can see a lot of people frustrations if they haven't played Full Throttle or a lot of these other point and click games that are, time sensitive. And this is a little bit more crucial, because you hear audio cues, you have visual cues that you need to interact with, and you have to be spot on. You have to be quick with these things. I think the game, for the small spaces that you are allowed to see, gives a very deep, rich gameplay, and then the storytelling and the branching that it gives you, it seems like it's endless in the beginning, because where I'm at, she said Erica finished one storyline. I wish I can get to that part right now, because I've done some things that I'm like, what? It went this way? It's just, I know a lot of people are having a problem with the realization of not knowing the person that you're living with, and I think that's like a big shocking thing to a lot of people. When you understand more, Colt, when you play the game, what that means, and you're gonna be like, seriously? Like, it's a lot of seriously moments in the game. So yeah, I really love it. I really love it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's good to know that these games like that. What you guys are explaining is a very unorthodox game.
Yes.
Like, it's not like a paint by numbers game. We see a lot of games that it's a lot like this, a lot like that, and 12 minutes is very unique, and which is refreshing because last week we had Quakecon, and we got a lot more of the same, I guess.
Yes.
What I want to bring up with this is transition to the Quake remaster, which I don't know. I got it free on Game Pass, thank goodness, but it basically looks like a file save as thing. I don't know if you guys loaded up Quake remaster on your PC or your console of choice. It's on PlayStation. It's a multi-plat. That's one of the things I want to talk about. That Phil said that, you know, we bought Bethesda so we could, you know, get people on Game Pass on Xbox for exclusives, but then Quake remaster, which the game is 30 years old, I think, almost.
Yes.
And it is releasing on all platforms, so it brought up big red flags. I'm going to go to Erica on this one because I know she's been involved in the discussion of what should and shouldn't be. Were you shocked by Quake remaster coming to all platforms?
In terms of like what should be exclusive and what's not, is that kind of where?
Yeah. Like, this is like a new release under Bethesda and Xbox, and it's like this is on all platforms.
I guess it will depend. I mean, honestly, I don't know a lot of Quake. I didn't really play it or grow up on it. I know it's got, you know, a lot of history. People love this stuff. I guess it depends on like what was in the contracts before the acquisition. You know, that's kind of the thing. There's like Deathloop and games like that are kind of like they have, you know, well, not Deathloop, but I'm thinking of other games where it's like they have this contract of like, oh, they're already going to be multi-plat. So if that's the case, then I don't see an issue. I mean, either way, exclusive or not, I don't see the issue with this, but I guess there is an issue. Maybe you guys can fill me in more about it. People don't want it to be multi-plat, I guess.
Go ahead, King. I know you're biting your lip over there.
Yeah, man. I was there when the inception of Quake hit. It was like one of Bethesda's little side projects, and you know they didn't want to touch their main franchises with Doom or Wolfenstein, and you know Quake was more of the multi-plat online, so they can get their feet wet, and it was like a real 3D game. It really took us to the next step, and you had to have a severe rig to play this game. And even then, it didn't play as well as I played it the other day when I downloaded it. I was like, wow, this is really what they wanted us to look and see. I want them to release the game on the PlayStation. I want them to release it on the PC. I want the game released on the Nintendo Switch. So when the actual next Quake does come out and it doesn't release on their platform, they can have FOMO. I think this is strategic. I think this is absolutely something that they lose nothing but gain everything, because what you do is you put that out there for those people that didn't do it, didn't get a chance to see it, or don't know it. Like, you know, Erica doesn't know it, so maybe she plays the game and she's like, wow, man, I really like how this game feels, I really like how it plays, and maybe it sparks some interest in it, so that when you do actually see the real full-blown next Quake, the next arena, the next game in that line, in that genre, and it's only released on Xbox, it makes a choice. It makes you decide, right? This game, this remaster is not going to make anyone decide anything. So why hoard it to yourself, right? But what you do is it does pique awareness, and I think it's very strategic, and it's kind of genius that you release it and you get all this fear around it, and then when the actual real new game comes out and everybody gets the chance to say like, oh my God, and then you get the stamp only on Xbox, that's when it really bites.
That's a good point. That is a good point, because if it's all on all the platforms, yeah, it can get interest, and especially if it comes to Game Pass, it's like, oh yeah, I'll try it out. You know, why not? You know, I hear about this game all the time. Never tried it, might as well. And then yeah, bring out the new one. That is strategic. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I agree. That's a good strategy. It's something they need. So let's talk about the other announcement that day was the Skyrim remaster. No big surprise, right?
Nope.
It's included on Game Pass, but there's also Skyrim Anniversary, which includes over 500 user-created expansions and mods and upgrades to the game. That is not in Game Pass.
No.
So this is something that upset Xbox fans, Erica, because they thought this is a first-party title. This is like the full feature Skyrim. This is better than the optimized for Series S and X port. That's also on PS5. So Xbox fans don't even get the premiere version in Game Pass. They have to buy it. As far as I know, did you hear any of these murmurings over the weekend about Skyrim Anniversary?
The only thing I really heard is like, again, just again, this is being brought to us again. It's like the GTA 5 thing. It's like these games just don't die. I know that sounds negative, but it is what people have been saying. So I've been seeing more so the conversation around that. Like, man, this game just doesn't go away. And 10 years later, it makes sense to bring out an anniversary version. I mean, that makes sense. I loved Skyrim. I played it on 360. I still have my copy somewhere. I really fell in love with that game and played it for like a month straight. So it's one of those things, again, it's like the remaster for the Quake thing. It's like new gamers, younger gamers can experience it for the first time. And with it being multi-plat, that's a good thing, right? But yeah, I could see why Xbox fans would feel a type of way if it's like, well, they bought Bethesda, so why are we not getting these certain features or not on Xbox, exclusive features and exclusive content? And that makes sense, but this is kind of the first I'm hearing about it because, like I said, the conversations around my circles has just been about Skyrim in general, just always coming back in another fashion, and it just doesn't seem to go away. So I don't know. It's interesting to learn about this right now, for sure.
Yeah, and it'll be a while before we get the next Elder Scrolls. King, are you okay with Skyrim Anniversary being on PlayStation? And have you looked at why this is the case? Well, kind of clouds the narrative, King. Like
it doesn't actually. Right? Listen, and I get it. I really do.
Yeah.
I honestly get it. I honestly get all the people that's upset. And I know a lot of Xbox guys is going to be like, King, but you stand up for us, like scream for us. This is first world problems, people. All right? You have the game already in Game Pass. Okay, so now you're complaining and crying that you don't get the 500 user maps that they made and they put in the game. Really? You got the game. If you're that extreme of a fan, trust me, whatever little price that you have to pay to get that part of the game really doesn't matter. It's not in-game content. It's content that's made by outside entities that they included in there for extreme fans. All right, so the extreme fan is going to not even think the extreme fan already paid for it, right? Now, I honestly believe the people that are whining and crying are not extreme fans. They just people that saw something and said, "Oh, I do want to cry about this. I do feel like this is something to get in a uprage about." Listen, release this. This is an old game. Release the game on all platforms. So when you do release the new game and it's only on Xbox, again, strategically getting mind share, strategically getting the new children that are trying to play these games. Oh, what is this old game about? But for them, this old game is not old, it's new. For everybody that gets a chance to try it everywhere else, oh wow, it's a new game. Let me check this out. Let me get so deep in the lore of this game, and then a year or two later, oh, the new Skyrim is coming out? Only on Xbox. So again, that is, you have to be able to strategically pull your fans in, that are on other platforms, and you only can create FOMO as after they try. You can't create FOMO if they've never tried the product. So you must, if it's an older product and it's costing you absolutely nothing to spread it someplace else where you're going to garner cash, do so. This is not new IPs that they're doing that with. These are older IPs, so you shouldn't be upset. It shouldn't be a problem. You should understand You have to do this when you're in second place. Don't act like you're in first place and you're having these first place problems. If they were in first place, trust me, it wouldn't reach over there. But they need to bring in the fan base. They need to bring in these customers. And these are things that you do in marketing and business 101. If you're in the know, take your feelings out of it and understand. Yeah, give them some old stuff. And
no feelings.
Yeah, but they don't want to hear that. They want King to be crazy. No, give them some old stuff so they can't get the new stuff unless they purchase here. It works that way.
Okay, well, all right. I mean, we know about Skyrim. Like you said, everybody's already played it. It's not really selling copies right now, so they can kind of move it around and kind of reinvigorate it with an anniversary edition. But I didn't plan on bringing this up. If you're watching the show, this is the Xbox Newscast podcast. This is a live show. I'm here with Erica. It's for the win. And I've got King David of Iron Lord Podcast. We're talking about the news of the week. There's some
the Xbox lifespan that individuals have fought for us. And right now we have Satya Adala with Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer.
What'd you call him?
Phil?
No, Satya.
Satya? Nadala?
Nadal. Oh, I thought you were making you're doing
no. I call him
with the dollars he's spending because he is right.
Yeah,
He told Phil he's like here.
You know what spend. It is? It's when you have the coach and the management working hand to hand, the team runs better. You get Super Bowls, baby. Yeah. You turn into the Patriots. You turn into a dynasty. When management is not working with the coach, it's not going to work. You're not going to get things right. You're going to be the Jets for a long time. I'm a Jet fan. It hurts. Yeah. So hopefully we get it right this year. Come on, Zach.
All right. I got a couple interesting super chats. One of them, somebody's really chomping at the bit to get this super chat in front of King. But this first one is from Kung Fu Hot Dog, who sends 2 £5 super chats. This is an interesting one. He says, "Hey Colt, any chance you can release the Xbox custom Game Studios family of characters graphic T-shirt?" So in 2019, I did a collage of Xbox game character franchises in a collage, and I worked with Aaron Greenberg and Matt Booty to come up with a final version that Aaron printed out for like 500 employees around the studios that work for Xbox and gave them out. And he sent one to me, and a lot of people wanted the shirt, but I didn't feel like I could put the shirt on my merch store and sell it because I kind of gave that design to Matt Booty and Aaron Greenberg and kind of said, "Hey, here, use this to celebrate what the studios are building." But since then, since 2019, the studios have climbed 10 more studios, right? So when I read this super chat, I thought, how cool, would it be cool if I upgraded that graphic, if I kind of took that idea and added in the new characters, made it new, and then made it available for people. I have a merch store on Teespring, and I put the shirts at like $16 or $18, close to cost, so people can buy them. So I might get into that project this week later. Kung Fu Hot Dog also says Gears 1 through 3 were the best under Cliffy B. Those were great, but I really like 5. Yep. And he says, Colton guess to Erica and King, do you think Microsoft will do anything special to celebrate 20 years of Halo? Hope we can get a Craig special edition console.
No.
Craig.
No.
Wants Craig's big face on the side.
I don't ever want to see Craig again.
Oh, gosh.
I actually talked about this last week. Erica, do you ever buy the custom controllers or custom consoles? I don't.
Sometimes. It's been a minute, but last gen, well, you can't see it, but I have the Gears of War 360 back there somewhere. I did that. That was a no-brainer because it's Gears and it looked amazing. Then it had you push the button, the sounds. Yeah, it had the sounds. And so when it's the right console or right controller, I'll do it. But I don't just on a whim like, oh, there's this random game, I'll go buy this. Like it's got to be something I really love. But I'm not opposed to it. Yeah, if it's the right game, I'll do it.
So we're gonna see we won't even get in the conversation of the console because it's not happening. There's not going to be a custom console because of the constraint. But do you think we'll see a custom Halo controller to celebrate 20 years?
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, they put out controllers so much. I would not be surprised if they were doing something like that. It would be cool, I think, for all the fans. I mean, 20 years. And I think that's another reason people thought like this, because I think the first one came out in November, right? Am I correct? So they were saying, well, this game has to come out in November. It's 20 years. And or maybe I'm getting the wrong year. But that was kind of... That was kind of like the thing people are looking for. Like, it's 20 years. What's up? Let's get something cool. I think a controller would be at least a step forward towards that. Yeah.
They better hurry up and announce that if that's a thing, because those things usually are announced a while before. Maybe that's something we hear tomorrow at Gamescom.
Yeah,
but
if they don't,
maybe
I'll hit up Xbox Pope if they don't.
Xbox Pope or Pope Art, as he's called now. But
yes, sir.
We'll get into that release date for Halo in a few minutes. That's another spicy take that you guys may not be ready for, but we will get into it. Here is the coup de grace super chat from Risk It for the Biscuit. Awesome name. He sends an Australian $8 super chat. This is regarding Halo too. He says, sorry to do this, man, but don't delay Halo. I don't think the majority of the community are worried about co-op or Forge. What do you guys think? Erica. Let's start with Erica.
Are we jumping in? We jumping in to this?
You jump in on this one. Yeah, you're newer to this, so...
Well, as far as Halo goes, just so everyone knows, I mean, I mentioned it a little bit. I was mostly a Gears head, through 360 and to now. Play Halo here and there. Do I feel like they should delay it? Is that what we going into this? I guess we can go into it. Or is it just
look at it one more time?
Co-op?
He's saying do not delay it because most people are not worried about co-op or Forge. That's what he's saying.
Co-op, I feel like from an outsider looking in, just kind of playing Halo here and there, co-op's always been a big part of Halo. I know friends right now who were going to buy Halo specifically for co-op. And then when I did play Halo 4, I got it at launch, I went straight to co-op. And that's just me as like a casual Halo player. So I know there's people out there who like co-op and that's part of their experience. So I wouldn't say most of everybody don't care. That's a bold statement. We don't know. There's we don't know the percentages. I don't know if it's 45%. Is it 4?
It's 4%. I know the percent.
I've seen all kinds of different numbers.
It's 4%. It's 4%.
Yeah, but just in general, because I am such a Gears fan, and I feel like I can relate in the way of like, if this was Gears, and Gears came out without co-op and without Horde or something that's been a part of the series, I would be worried, like, what is going on over there? Because even if I don't really play those modes that much anymore, it's still worrisome, and it gives me the idea that this game is not ready, and something's going on, because this ain't the franchise that I loved and was used to. And if you get used to modes being there at launch, and you're a diehard fan and you became a fan, let's say there's people out there who became a fan because of co-op, of course they're going to feel a certain way, like, what's going on? So that's just kind of my perspective looking in. I kind of relate it to like what I go through with Gears when they came out with only a little bit of maps. That was a big deal. That was upsetting. It's like, where are the maps? Where's this? Where's that? And then when they try and take things away and you get frustrated, you start to question, and you start to think maybe this franchise is not in the right hands anymore. So I totally understand.
Would you rather wait 3 to 6 months to get like a full suite of maps of Gears, or are you like, I'd really like to play it this November, and I'll play the heck out of the 4 maps or 6 maps or whatever? Like, where do you stand when it comes to one of your favorite games?
It would suck, but I think I'd rather wait. It would, because at least I would know, okay, they're going to polish this thing. They're going to bring all the maps, because I know with a game like Gears, which is somewhat different than Halo, but when it starts to die off, it starts to die off. That game came out, Halo 5 came out multiplayer wise, and it was hot for a minute, and then it just died off. And so the lack of content, I think, was a part of that. So if it could come out complete and be a banger and get a bunch of people playing and enough content to keep it moving and have constant content coming through, that's a better scenario than just pieces at a time. Because by the time the second piece comes, these casuals, they're gone. They don't care no more. They're already done. So, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at.
I can see that. I can see that. It's strange because this is going to be a crazy discussion because we're going to get into what some fans care about, what some fans don't care about other fans. It gets dicey, and I'm gonna shoot it here to King in a second. But Jez Corden from Windows Central joined the chat and then left a €5 super chat and said, "What about mayo and fries?" So Jez is always. Yeah, we love Jez. He's always got something to say that is always making people smile. King, I'm going to frame this to you because I know where you stand on where Halo Infinite should release or how it should release. But what I want to ask you is, how do you feel about a large majority of Xbox fans saying, I don't really care about the fans that want co-op. If they want co-op, they have to wait.
Well, this is for you guys that's out there whining. It's called the fraud alert.
Stretch out first before you do this, King.
This is called the fraud alert. This is for you. All right. So I'm the leader of the fraud police, and I hear you guys screaming, and you all are out of bounds. All right. First of all, let's dispel the whole rumor. This is a traditional Halo game. In a traditional Halo game, yes, of course, we can really absolutely have co-op from the beginning. In a traditional Halo game, that's absolutely going to happen. This is not a traditional Halo game. Actually, a lot of people don't know exactly what type of Halo game this is. Is this a game of service? Is this a game like Destiny? What are we getting? What are we getting? There's so many questions around that part. Wrap your brain around that part, right? Understand if they're having a problem with they want you to be able to go anywhere and they have 4 people going anywhere at all times. And then if they go into a storyline, if it's on the map and the whole map is accessible and you go into a storyline while your boy is climbing a mountain over there, fighting somebody. Yeah, right. And you got to warp him to you. They're probably having a problem with that. And they're trying to figure out that last aspect of that, just that part. I believe the game is totally polished when it comes to the campaign part. I don't believe any of the leakers talking about the campaign is a mess and all that other stuff. I don't. If you don't put your name to it, I don't believe you. Right? And that's the only time I will believe anyone is when they put their name to it. The multiplayer is complete. All right. Halo's big pillar is single player multiplayer. Co-op is secondary. Forge is completely last. All right. The multiplayer is in free to play. Nobody has a reason to complain at all. It's not stopping anyone from playing. If you care so much about co-op, I'll see you in 3 months. I'll see you in 3 months. I expect November 15th for it to launch on its inaugural 20-year anniversary. If you like Forge, I'll see you in 6 months. I've never used Forge one time. So literally out of 20 years, I don't care if it was there at all. It doesn't do anything for me. But for those people that does, I really feel for you. I understand. And I see you in 6 months. I expect to put my headset on. I expect to get into my story in Halo. Like I said on Iron Lord's podcast, is not Master Chief and the Chiefettes. I do not need a bunch of my friends to play with me so I can put it on the highest level so I can get past that board. Because you guys really know that's the only reason why you want co-op is so your guys can pick you up when you get sniped from across the board and you need help. You need help, so you need that co-op to work for you because you want to get that achievement that you did it on super hardcore mode, right?
Erica, you gonna let him get away with this?
I was gonna say up until the hardcore mode part. I was gonna say I feel attacked. I feel attacked.
I'm not even attacking you at all.
I know, King. I know.
No.
Much love, brother.
That was too funny.
That is good. It's so funny because I don't think of it this way. The way that you have fun with it, right?
Yes.
Because I hear King's voice. He's not saying, well, you can sort of hear the too bad, so sad for you to have to wait for Forge and co-op. Honestly, and I haven't given my opinion because this is the first time I'm doing the show since this news broke, but I was probably planning on playing through the game by myself first and then getting with my friends like the RDX guys and some of my friends just playing co-op and having some sessions. And in all honesty, I'd probably play the entire game by myself and all the way through, and then I would go back and play chunks here and there with friends. You always end up like doing a few missions with a friend, and then you can't meet back up, so you start over again with a different friend. So you play maybe a quarter or half of the game in co-op, but it's there at launch. But it's a core thing. Before we get into that, I've got a bunch of super chats. People really want to give their opinion, but I've got a very interesting tweet. I have to pull this up from I'll get his name as soon as I bring this up. You may have seen this. This came out on Twitter yesterday. This is from a developer named Tyler Owens, who has 7 years experience with live service multiplayer games. He says, I've worked previously on Halo 5 Guardians, Rocket Arena, and Apex Legends, and he's a gigantic Halo fan and has been playing since Combat Evolved. So I'm going to read this. It'll take about a minute, and then we'll get into the rest of the discussion. This is kind of devil's advocate for those kind of support the Xbox fans that say, hey, let's go ahead and release the game. And just so you know, I am the one of them that is saying, why not just get everything all in order? And if that means delaying, go ahead and delay the game until next year. And I know people don't like that, but that was my initial response. And now as I see more and more things, I'm coming to what would you call it? I guess an understanding where I know things are set. This is the decision they're going to make. So we're not here to try and change 343's mind, right? I'm going to read this and we'll get into discussion. It's still going to be feisty. But Tyler Owens says, first, I want to leverage a great example how simple features can have complex considerations around online games and services and social features. As the platform of a game grows to more platforms, so do the number of services that need to retain compatibility. Hopefully by now you have an understanding how modern features may be dependent on online game services and how all game services will be impacted in unexpected ways, usually scale impossible to replicate in testing. He shows a graph of a bunch of different platforms and consoles and PC that are connected to different services. If you launch Halo Infinite on Steam and on Xbox Live, you now have to make sure that all of the little features and service and connections and entitlements and everything always works. If somebody's on Steam and they jump in mid-game, is that going to be cool with how Xbox Live works? It's not as simple as it can be. He's almost done here. He says, I shouldn't have to, but we'll establish again that Halo Infinite's campaign is vastly different, like King said, than previous titles because of the open world nature, how to respawns and checkpoints work, join in progress, cutscene triggers, etc. All these become exceedingly complex when adding players and services. Simple considerations how another player connects to a campaign, session transforms, managing a peer-to-peer connection over Xbox Live, and needing a crossplay service or a dedicated server. So I'm going to go to Eric on this because
a lot to digest there.
Yeah, it's a lot of like, he kind of tries to give you like, I'm going to explain how difficult things are so you have an understanding. It's not just a simple thing like, it's just co-op. So Erica, what I want to frame this to you is, you said earlier that if co-op isn't ready, like what state is Halo Infinite in right now? What do you think?
Well, like King is saying, you're saying the multiplayer's polished, it's finished, campaign's finished. And if that's the case, then good. I mean, if they're going to release it in that state and it's polished, it's beautiful, campaign's amazing. I mean, people they'll probably forget, won't think twice. Oh, I'll play co-op later. This game's amazing, right? But you reading that tweet did remind me of the leaks I did read, whether they're right or wrong. They both agree that this is not so simple. The respawns, the checkpoints. Some people compared it to like Borderlands. Well, how come Borderlands did it, but this can? And it's just a different game. And I agree with you, King, on that. Like that's a good way of looking at it. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be a service type game. They've already announced seasons. Yep. Which is like, whoa, okay, Halo is gonna have these seasons. Forge is coming in 6 months, and then you got co-op in 3 months, and it's just like, wow, that's very unheard of for Halo. And that's, I think, why the fans are kind of the hardcore, like the day ones, and that's who I kind of surround myself with. So when I hear their complaints, I see where they're coming from. Like, oh yeah, I mean, you've been there from day one, you've always had co-op, like, yeah, I get you, but it is true. And I am hearing you guys, and I'm hearing that tweet, like, yeah, this is not a traditional Halo. And whether that's for better or for worse, is kind of what it is. And so, yeah, I think that's a good tweet to kind of make us think about that. Like, yeah, maybe it's not so simple. And maybe it's not even about delaying it. Maybe it can't be done at all. We don't really know.
No, it could be done.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, it should have been done before, but
I hope.
I should reset. If you're just joining us, this is the Xbox Newscast podcast. If you're having fun, if you like listening to Erica and King David and I talk about, we're going to talk about how everybody's fighting about Halo Infinite. If you're having fun, if you're enjoying the show, it just takes a second. Go over, hit the like button. It shows them, it shows me that we're doing an okay job and we're not sweating under pressure. And we're trying to have a good time here. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you're listening to this on earbuds on the next day, today's Monday. So if you're listening to us on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, it's because we're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. I'm going to get into some super chats because we all have a voice. And that's the best and the worst thing about social media is we all have a voice. And I love the community that we are around. They're so passionate. Kasubi gives us $2 Australian super chat and says, for King, many knees will be rolling tomorrow, as he refers to Gamescom's showing Xbox is going to have nice presents, right?
Yes,
many knees, King?
Yes, yeah. A huge amount of knees heading my way this year. Like I was trying to tell Colt, and I gave you guys the Cliff Notes version of the Halo campaign. I gave it you gave us a deep dive in exactly why, and I tried to give it to them in a way that they can digest it. It's not a traditional Halo game.
Yeah,
please pull your expectations back. So take away the feelings that you had when you first booted up Halo. Take that away, because it's going to be on a different scale. They're going in a huge different direction, and I believe this is the culmination of what 343 has learned. I believe this is going to be 343's shining moment, and I think this is Bonnie Ross's redemption song. I honestly believe that she's going to be standing at the podium at the Game Awards, and then she's going to be getting an award for this game for all her hard work and the persecutions that people have put her through. I stand by her in this because I honestly believe 343 is going to release a seminal Halo game, a game that you will look at and say, wow, this is what their hard work paid off as. No longer would you look at, the Halo franchise from this moment, from the Infinite, as just a Bungie only good years type of game. You're going to look at this game in this franchise from this moment as, wow, 343 stepped into their own shoes. They got from under the shadow of Big Brother, and they actually crafted something of their own. And I really believe that's going to happen. I really do, with all my heart. So
I have a question.
Lofty goals.
I have a question for King. When Bonnie Ross is up there at the awards, what award is she up there for?
Oh my God.
Oh man,
what's she taking home? What's she getting an award for?
See, that goes into the question
best Halo game award of the year.
Because the Game Awards is going to be some stuff this year, and Game of the Year is going to be some stuff is going to be up there, man. Dude, does
what,
Halo walk away with Game of the Year? Yeah, I know, because I know this is in your thing, so yeah.
No, it's perfect. I mean, I would shoehorn that in now, but let's actually hold that for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold that.
Because that is pretty interesting. Because you made me think some things there, both of you. So that's really good.
I was just curious if you had like a right away answer. I just wanted to know.
No, I did, and to peg it, it's going to. I know it will come back and bite me in a hard way if it's not. But anytime, because when you bet with your heart, you're like, hey man, sometimes you're wrong, and sometimes you don't see the forest for the trees, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I honestly believe that everyone that get persecuted, because I believe 343 has been persecuted out of all the developers and the studios at Microsoft. I think 343 has got it the worst. I think the coalition has had a great time there, because with Gears, I believe that you see Turn 10, they've had a great time there with the Forza franchises. And I honestly believe 343 has been given Halo. the reason why people brought an Xbox. And you can never please anyone always, but they did release some really good games. They did release some really good Halos. Maybe the multiplayer wasn't hitting on this one, or maybe the campaign lacked in this one, but they were always here or there, really doing their best. I honestly believe that this game is going to be the collation of everything that they learned and really put down. I just think the engine that they switched from the beginning to the Slipstream engine now is going to show what they're capable of graphically when it comes out. And people were upset with Craig thing because they were like, I'm hearing about the Slipstream engine and I'm not seeing it. And stop comparing it to everything else you see. Stop comparing it to God of War, where you go into one room and it can give you the same ogre in different colors, and you have to worry about that one room. No, you're talking about a world. They're giving you a whole Halo ring for you to play on, and just wrap your mind around that.
Well, like Far Cry looks...
Yes.
Like I'm looking forward to Far Cry 6, and Far Cry looks amazing, but if you ever zoomed in on any of the NPCs that you attack in the camps, like you will do in Halo, no one ever scrutinizes. I remember playing Far Cry 4, and there's like 3 enemies and three allies. Like your allies pull up in a Jeep to give you a car, and they all look the same. They hop out and they're all triplets. But I don't know. Like we zoom into the pixels so much, it drives me crazy. Lucius Augustus says, salute to Lord King Swami of Xbox. And Rob Jones gives a £2 super chat that says, King will be collecting arrows from people's knees. So hopefully this all works out for you tomorrow. That 5% wrong could happen, but Spitfire Spud Gaming gives a €5 super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, fantastic panel tonight. Keep up the awesome work. Gamescom this week. What game are you excited to see at Gamescom? He said, I would love to see more of the gunk.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to see that. Gunk. Yeah.
Is that something you're interested in, Erica?
Yeah, it's been a while since I heard anything. I would like to hear something about it. Yeah, I was interested in it when I saw it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's from the team that made SteamWorld Dig, and they have the nice little pedigree there. RDX Son of Fett gives a Canadian $2.79. Says Psychonauts is the highest rated game of 2021. We're going to get right back into Halo in a minute, but we'll take a sidestep. That would have let us cool off for a bit. I've been playing Psychonauts over the weekend. I previewed it a few weeks ago. This is a nice, surprising game. It's not my style of game normally. Like, I've been known as the anti-banjo guy around the community.
Are you?
But that's bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm like the anti-kitty game in a lot of ways. There's very few exceptions, but I didn't grow up with banjo, so I give it a hard time. But Double Fine has like that charm, and I've been playing it. I feel like sometimes you're in a crazy Disney ride when you play the game, and it's scoring really well. Have you been in the trenches, Erica, with Metacritic?
No, I try and stay away as much as possible. I'm not big into like review score. I mean, well, I am in a way. I like to take note, but it doesn't determine like whether I'm going to play or not, I guess. But
but do you fight with the fanboys, Erica? Do you fight with them over Metacritic?
Gosh, definitely not.
Do you take screenshots and this one, that one?
User score versus the actual site score. No, but I'm happy for Psychonauts doing well. It seems like a cool game. I've never actually played Psychonauts.
Oh, no.
But I might give it a shot. I'm into banjo. I was a banjo fan, grew up on banjo, so I'm sad to hear you didn't, Cole. But
I'm coming around. The community is starting to hear. I'm coming around. Like as I play some of these other games, like I hear more and more the passion. So I'm willing to not be a gatekeeper. I can't stand gatekeepers, and I realize I'm the biggest banjo gatekeeper, and that has to end. King, what do you do? What's going on with it? Did you see the all-out war about Metacritic?
Well, I don't interact with people that need their food chewed for them before they digest it.
I like that.
Little birds and little birds and babies do that. I don't need no one to taste my food before I actually get a chance to eat. I like to eat my food on my own. I'm sorry, I don't look at Metacritic. I don't care about anyone's opinion on, oh, so this part. Okay, good. It's nice. If you're a trusted friend, like I look to Lord Sovereign because he knows my taste in games. So if he recommends an indie game that I didn't see that wasn't on my radar, and he's like, yo, check this out, you'll like this, I'll check it out, because I really respect his opinion on check it out, type of thing. It's not, oh, this game is rated 92. We don't even talk like that. Who does that? I don't say, hey, Erica, check out this Halo. It's rated 93. Like, what?
It has a great Metacritic score. You have to play it. That means it's good, right?
Oh, God. Is it good or not? Oh, yeah, it's cool. So, they took away. Fun fact, the Hip Hop Gamer said that a long time ago. When we used to get EGM or we used to get Game Pro or Game Fan, Fun Factor was one of the pillars that were inside the ratings, right? They removed that Fun Factor out of their whole assessment of a game. Sometimes graphics don't mean everything. Gameplay means a lot. Frame rates means a lot. And fun factor, I've played some of the wackiest games that you're like, what? Why are you playing that? I'm like, it's fun as hell. So I don't care for Metacritic. I don't care for people's opinions on games, except for, trusted friends. And Psychonauts, I played the first one. Love Psychonauts. I can't wait for Tim Schafer's take on this game. I can't wait to dive deep into this his psychosis, his craziness. The game is amazing from the visuals that I did see of the trailers and stuff like that. And I just preloaded. So on the 26th, I'm in.
Nice. Okay. Nice. The chat keeps saying Halo over and again. As we stepped off of this. So there are many ways to look at what's going on with Halo, and one of the things that happened this weekend that was not enjoyable for me that happened was when they announced that they were going to go ahead and say this game is ready to go. We've waited long enough. It's never finished because it's a live service game. We're going to launch without co-op. Now, I'm kind of with King and maybe with Erica that I don't care about Forge, but I would never tell anybody too bad you don't get Forge. So, but co-op, I'm like, co-op is a core part of Halo since 2004, 2005, I think, when Halo 2 came out. So there's no split screen co-op and there's no campaign online co-op to play cooperatively until 3 or, as I'm hearing, 3 to 5 months. He said, Joseph Staten in 343 said in season 2, which would be 3 months after launch, but that also means within, so they have some wiggle room. So that's the problem, is that I'm hearing fans call me a whiner, call me a baby, saying I'm trashing 343 because I'm saying, hey, and I'll just say my piece now because I want you guys to take most of this discussion too, is I don't want to take all the heat, but what I'm saying is, like, I got to meet Bonnie Ross in 2019. I got to shake her hand. She's a very nice person. She's been in the industry forever. And these people I've talked to at 343, they love what they do. So what I'm saying is, hey, 343, instead of releasing the game in November, wait until the spring, get everything in order, release the best Halo that you can. The extra time getting co-op ready, the other parts of the team can polish everything else, make sure matchmaking is ready to rock, longer flighting time, and in the end, what won't matter is when you play the game, it'll matter how the game comes out. So my solution is to the benefit of all of the fans that care about co-op. Delay the game, put it out later so it's a better game, gets a better score, it has everything that everybody wanted, nobody feels left out. That's not whining, but that's not going to happen. So I've understood over the weekend that just me standing up and saying, as an Xbox fan, I want better for everybody. And if that means delaying the game, I think we should delay it. Now, that is not something that this audience wants to hear. If I look at the poll, if it'll let me look at it, it is a resounding 27% have said it's okay to delay it for co-op. 73% say, Colt, you're a moron. We're going to launch the game. I've waited long enough. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for being appreciative. We should listen to people's voices. There's people who say, in my opinion, co-op's really important to me. Solid Rev, guy in the community that we all really like listening to and trust him.
Yeah.
He's great, right?
Yeah.
Solid Rev said, hey, I only wanted to play this with my son. I wanted to sit down with my son. He's the reason why I like Halo. He's left out, and as a community, diehard Halo fans, we don't want to leave our community behind. So that's my
King
my
is
speech.
just laughing.
Because
He has just been laughing.
Himself.
So come on, King.
No,
Argue with my reason. My reason is way better than whatever you have.
No,
so
I'm
talk
not
me
gonna-
out of my reasoning.
Listen, I'm not gonna talk you out of it. I'm gonna tell you, just pretend like it didn't launch. Just pretend like
Don't
it
buy
didn't
it.
come out.
Just don't buy it.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Just wait until the spring.
I haven't brought Cyberpunk, right? Because I said I will buy Cyberpunk when Cyberpunk launches
okay.
next gen, right? So every time somebody talks about Cyberpunk, I say, "Oh, did it come out yet?" Right? Did it come out yet?
Oh my gosh.
I lose
Wow.
absolutely nothing, right? But everybody who did play it or has played it, they're enjoying themselves. They had a good time, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. I chose to vote with my wallet. I'm going to tell everyone, if you are not pleased with something, the biggest way to make Microsoft know that you're not pleased with it is don't buy it. But I'm going to guarantee you this. For all you frauds, I'm going to guarantee you
Where's the light?
This is it. If you have Game Pass, I'm going to guarantee you frauds this. You will be there day and date. I love co-op. Playing by yourself in the luxury of your home, and you won't have anything to say. In 3 months, you'll come right back with your buddy, arm in arm, and have a good time.
Arm in arm.
I like this.
That's right.
Holding
Get that
hands.
bro arm in, and you guys are going to get past this campaign, and then you're going to put it on super hardcore mode, and you can get that achievement that you want to get day one that you're not going to get alone.
You don't even care about me, do you, King? You don't care about my feelings.
I do.
Erica, back me up on this.
I don't know if I can. And I want to back up Rev too, because I love Rev. Shout out to Rev if he hears this. But when I did see his tweet, I play for the co-op. Me and my son, we play for the co-op. I felt for him. I was like, oh, yeah, that sucks. They're not going to have it. But then at the same time, it's like, well, you could just wait and then play co-op. Like you could wait and do it in 3 months if it comes in 3 months. Like let's hoping, right? But so it is like that thing of like logically, it's like, but you could wait. I know the
You're
FOMO.
so mean.
I know the FOMO will kick in. You don't want to wait. It's Halo.
Yeah.
It's going to be free multiplayer. Like, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to jump in and have some
Thank
fun.
you, Erica. Thank you.
And so it is like that logical thing of like, well, you don't have to play it right now solo if you really don't want to play it solo.
Right?
Does it suck? Yeah, but it would be the same thing if it was delayed, right, Cole? Like, I'm kind of putting it together right now. It's like it will be delayed.
So am I.
For you.
Yes, so am I.
It's delayed for you.
It's delayed for you.
Yo, you guys, stop it. Yeah, the chat's like
It
on
makes
fire.
sense.
Like they're with you guys, and I am too. Like I said, I started to see what it meant, And here's the crazy part. I'm really good friends with Randall Thor 19, and if you watch his content, he's so level-headed. He's able to step away from his favorite thing and just look at things objectively. Drives me crazy. I don't know how he does it because we all have a bias. But he said, "Colt, here's your problem," and I'm going to expose my fraudness as it is. He said, "I think you're a bit too worried about how Xbox and Halo are going to look at launch. Like if it launches full featured, if they delay and launch it full featured, it has a better chance of coming out being the best looking Halo or best rating Halo." And he says if you step away from the Twitter sphere, a lot of that doesn't matter. That how great the optics are for the game. Now this is all based on, because I've been talking to Jay Fonzarelli and Gaz from Game On Daily. Like we're in the camp of we want to wait so everything is better. And Rand says, I lose my train of thought so fast, but he says this is all based on if Halo Infinite campaign comes out in November or December. That's foreshadowing what we're going to talk about later. If Halo Infinite comes out this holiday and it comes in hot and it's got problems and the campaign is having issues, like stuff isn't working or saves or whatever, like if it comes in hot, then like the people, the small 20% of the people on my side will say, see, I told you they should have delayed it. That's kind of where Randall Thor's in the chat right now, but he just timed out Other Zinc for fun. Rand, be nice. We love Other Zinc. He's a passionate Xbox fan. But I understand. I really do. I had to come to an understanding this weekend because when the news dropped, I took off on a trip with my wife. We got to enjoy our wedding anniversary. I had better things to enjoy than to worry about video games, but I kind of saw this thing going in the background. People are calling me names. I'm like, hey, be nice. But
on your anniversary too. Wow.
Yeah, I look at my phone. I'm like, okay, I'll turn that over. And no, it's all good fun. But shout out to Gaz in the chat as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's here. We got over 900 people watching. It is super polarizing. I can start to see. But let me ask you, Erica, if this was Gears, if this is the next Gears, and they said we don't have Xbox Live friend matchmaking at launch, that's going to have to wait 3 months, what would you do?
It's like I kind of said earlier, it's like that would be worrisome. Like, I get where you're coming from and where Rand is coming from, talking about like how they look, right? Like the perception and the mind share. And I would probably fall into where you're at, Colt, because I would feel like, well, Gears is going to look terrible. No one's going to want to play it. I'm going to have to play with the same sweaties online because the casuals won't stay. And you know what I mean? It's like, that's because as a Gears community, that's what happens. It's like the casuals are there, then boom, they're just gone. And I would worry like this is going to happen quicker and it's not going to be that great. And I was just like, my head would spin because that perception, you kind of think about that. If you care about something, you want other people to give it a chance, right? Yeah. So I get what Rand is doing. He's kind of stepping out of that and you're like, look, it's different this time. It's going to work out. It's going to be fine. But I don't know if that happened with Gears. I mean, I can't even lie. I think I would just be like,
Colt is leading the witness. He's leading the witness, and he's going to your passion.
Oh my gosh, I object.
Let me tell you what Colt just did.
Okay,
Colt
I see.
Thank you. Colt knows that you love Gears, right? And what he did was he put your favorite franchise and gave you an impossible scenario where you would absolutely object to, and you would fall in line with what his line of thinking is. And this is where I call a fraud on Colt on this, because if Gears took the same tact as Halo, which they will, remember I said this, and it will be an infinite type of a Gears game where it will be reoccurring. You will have seasons, you will have stuff like that. I believe they're going to do that with Forza. All their main franchises will be a reoccurring type of thing. When they do that with Gears, they might have little hiccups in the beginning launching with certain things, and that stuff will be understandable that it will come later on. But what he's failing to say, again, is the multiplayer is free to play. So the biggest aspect that you keep talking about is the multiplayer aspect and the casuals leaving and the sweaties still sticking around. This is where this changes for Halo. It's a free to play. So the pool of people will be larger than it's ever been. Yeah. Right?
True.
So
that's true.
From an initial standpoint, it's going to be, I'm worried that the servers aren't ready. Because from the test flight that everybody did, it was a roaring success, right? Everybody loved it, and everybody can't stop talking about it. They set you guys up. They built FOMO into everybody that tested the beta. So those are the people that are fighting you right now, Colt, because they're not telling you that the multiplayer is going to be delayed. No, they're telling you something that you didn't get a chance to test or play, you shouldn't care about. But the thing that you care about the most, that multiplayer, that's going to launch. And hey, guys, I know you love the campaign of Halo. You got that. So those two crowds is going to overshadow anything of these co-op dudes and these Forge dudes is going to say. You're going to lose this battle. And I just didn't like that you were staring her with her favorite franchise and scaring her like...
I'm going to ask the jury to strike everything the king has said over the past 10 minutes.
So you saying he played me a little bit. He did kind of pull the heartstrings and put me in the place of like, what if it was Gears?
He dangled your puppy off the roof. And you're like,
what if it was your cat?
Wait.
No. I got to get some supers. You guys, we got to put a pin in talking about the servers and multiplayer. So hold that. We're going to come right back to it because we can get super lost if somebody doesn't guide and direct us. And I'm not really the right person to guide and direct us. But Faisal Hey Sean says, great guests again, Colt. Looking forward to the podcast. Horace gives a $2 super chat. Says Skyrim is a legacy title. Is it not? Yes, he's referring to why it is on all platforms. Absolutely. Yes, we covered that quite well. But some of these might be decaying if I don't get to them. Bernard Miller gives a $2 super chat and says, King. Oh, I already got that one, but here's one. Acute Perspective is asking me to read this one. He's got some math for us if you're ready. He says, news for all Game Pass subscribers. $180 a year if you played 3 games on the service. I've done this math too and made it a tweet. He says, if you've played 3 games on the service, $65 times 3 is $195. So you made your money back and are now playing the rest of the year at profit. So if you play 3 games, everything after that is free on Game Pass.
Yes.
And I kind of agree. Yeah. We got Kryptonian gives a $5 super chat. Thank you, Kryptonian. I haven't seen Kryptonian in a little bit, but he says, question is, do you want to sell a broken, incomplete game in its 20-year anniversary? My opinion, release free-to-play first and then co-op. Kryptonian, are you saying release free-to-play this November and wait for the campaign when co-op is ready?
I think that's what they're saying.
What do you think about that idea?
I think that's what they're saying. I know that's another idea people are passing around too, because it's co-op with the campaign. Okay, then wait on the campaign, just release a free-to-play, which I wouldn't personally mind, because I'm just looking forward to the multiplayer. But I mean, for others, it's kind of that
terrible
thing.
Lawyer, by the way.
I know.
I mean, it's that thing of like, are they going to wait or are they not going to wait? I mean, I think they wouldn't. I think they have no choice.
They're not going to wait. It's so minute.
They delayed it, you know.
Yeah, the cry is so minute. It's like hell. It's like so minute. It's not going to happen. And I really would like people to stop saying broken game. Right, you know, broken games are a lot of games that come out like Outriders that didn't have the infrastructure built into the server base to have these games tested and done properly. So stop saying broken games. There are a ton of games that are actually broken games, and if you're talking about a complete story that you can play the campaign from beginning to end with no problems, and you just can't play with your buddy, listen, learn to play alone. Learn to have fun
by yourself
with your game by yourself. Listen, sometimes I know you like to be in chat, you like to talk, you like to do that. Take time out, see the game, hear the story, listen to the music, fall in love with the character all over again. Play some multiplayer with your friends. They're telling you you can play with Master Chief and the Chiefettes all over the place in multiplayer. So go do that.
Chiefettes, I like that.
If they would have said that they were, how do I say this? If it was the other way around, like if they said that we would have to wait on the campaign and the multiplayer was first, I would have been really mad. Like, So I can see. I am with you that, like I said earlier in the show, for those that joined later on, I did explain that I knew I would play campaign from beginning to end by myself. Yep. And then I would jump in and do several sessions, segmented sessions of co-op campaign, maybe the whole game with a friend, but it doesn't always work out because we have different schedules. So, I mean, I have friends who are in the UK. When I go to bed, they're just getting up. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I have a friend like Gaz from Game On Daily. He's in London, and I'm like, you know, we're good enough friends to where you just need to go graveyard shift. You know,
he needs to change his shift at midnight
for me, right? So let's see. We got people I love these opinions, these super chats. Like, people have such a good take, and so far I haven't seen anybody call me a moron. So I think you guys are pretty fantastic. We got Brett Bingham gives a $10 super chat. Thanks, buddy. He says, I think people took a backseat to the graphics over last year. People got upset about single player and multiplayer launching separately as originally intended, which was a talk. Yep. And like Joseph Staten said, it was something they were thinking they should do. I'm glad they didn't. He says they amended the plan and people are still unhappy. Yes, very well said. Warlord 1015 gives a $5 super chat. Says, we're still dealing with a worldwide pandemic. The fact that we're still getting games at all is a blessing. Remember that.
Yep.
Guys, Erica, what do you think? You think that's still true?
I mean, there's that devil's advocate of like, well, look at Ghost of Tsushima and look at these other games that are putting out content and they're just going. So, I mean, if you compare it to other games, yeah, it could make 343 look a little bad. Like, okay, everyone's dealing with this. So what's going on, you know? But in the reality is, yes, there's a pandemic still, and we're still going through it. And I mean, we've had delays for other games. We've had, even if it's just been a month delay or something like that. I mean, they've been so rampant the past year. So, I mean, it makes sense. I don't really know. I'm not there. You know, they're all working from home maybe. And it's been a little bit more of a struggle. And yeah, it's something to keep in mind. But again, it's that thing of like, well, other games are coming out. So you can see both ways.
Yeah, I gotta back up Erica on that, because like when people are like, well, Ghost of Tsushima is just DLC. She's talking about like the whole game came out at the end, you know, middle of 2020 during the pandemic, but different games are at different stages.
If you're
like,
ones.
Complete, though, and they were just polishing for that whole period of time. I won't actually use that game as an example. I will use newer games that are, you know, games that were made for these new consoles that are coming out now. A lot of these games got super delayed. A lot of these games have fell off the radar. And those games that are making, you know, the mark, or that are hitting the mark, I thought the medium would have been better served releasing a little bit later when the tools were better, right? And that was a direct result of the pandemic. And that's how the pandemic can impact a game that could have been greater had we not been in a pandemic. But that's a new IP launching on the newer console, and it suffered a bit, right? We have to look at that. These guys keep looking at new IPs and the delays and the suffering, but not taking into account that if there's no pandemic, these guys are able to work hand in hand, walk into the office, and I can say, yo, Colt, I need those assets really quickly. I'm sending over the music files so we can sync this up really quickly. When you're doing this through email and Zoom meetings and stuff like that, and you're trying to correlate and you're sending data, they're sending large chunks of data to each other to look at these assets. You don't know the logistical nightmares that these people are going through. So if they tell you that co-op is not available yet, and you're looking at a small aspect of the game, yes, for some people, that's a large aspect. And I feel for you. Just take a step back. See you in 3 months. The same thing with the Forge. See you in 6 months, either, because Forge, I think, is more intense because you have to take into account of what's inside the board, who's doing this. It's going to be longer. Sure. Yeah, because I think Forge is a larger aspect of Halo when it comes to creation, and that aspect has to be spot on and dead right. So we have to give these guys a little bit of leeway. Nobody's going crazy that Horizon has been pushed to next year, right? But we're going to get our newer games to get some breathing room because of the pandemic, right? And we're still uncertain with these variants and stuff that's going on. So the fact that Phil is telling you we're not going to delay the game, we're just trying to pin down the actual release date, because they don't want to tell you a date and then have to move the date. They want to be completely sure on the date, because everybody just wants to hear a date. That's it.
Yeah, they just didn't want another delay. Right. We've got Hectic World said Halo 5 did not have co-op, so what's the standard do we follow? It has campaign and multiplayer, so it's ready. Halo 5 did have co-op, has 4-player co-op. But yeah, it's not ready. And this is the decision they made. Horace gives us $2 super chat. Phil Dominus Maximus will go Conan on 343 for this. Or Conan, I guess I should say. I'm so used to saying Conan O'Brien. But yeah, if you went Conan O'Brien on 343, I would be there in a heartbeat to see that. David Kirkhoff gives a €5 super chat. Says, the king is right. Halo is a single-player game. You play the story of the Spartan 117 Master Chief, not the story of 4 Master Chiefs. I did think about that. It's weird. Like, you see him in that derelict, no gravity ship, and he's moving around, and that would all happen in a cutscene with one. We've played games where they have co-op, and all of a sudden the cutscene is made for the single one person. I'm like, that's weird. Where's my character? I'm playing with my friend. But yeah, Chris R gives a $5 super chat. My theory is what they had. My theory is that what was considered acceptable to the previous 343 lead, Chris Lee, was not acceptable to Joe Staten. So Joe Staten is what I call the closer. He came in and he made sure they got Crackdown 3 finished, got all things tied up, released the game, get it out, because it got to the point where the delay was just costing them more money. Joseph Staten is actually Bungie and Halo. Like, he's got the blood and guts of that team. So he's the right person to bring in there and fish it out. When his name comes in, I'm more confident about Halo. So good super there, Chris. We got Lou Morningstar gives a $5 super chat. He says, you and some friends are going on a trip one day. One friend says they can't go, but you can't get tickets for 3 months. You're waiting. Sorry, bye. Yeah, he's gonna leave his friend at the at the AM PM. I mean,
wow.
he takes a small. I mean, he takes a bit of a core feature of Halo and turns it into leaving your friend behind at the gas station because he does. You know, that's funny. I love it.
That's a crazy analogy right there. Very
I
imaginative.
love it. It's so funny. It's funny because, like, for him, now we know what kind of friend you are, Lou Morningstar.
I know.
Hopefully you and I don't go on a road trip. If we do, I'm buying 2 tickets to make sure that when you lose one of mine, I'll have a backup. Old Dirty Gamer gives a $5 super chat. Old Dirty Gamer's great. He's been on the channel for a while, so I really appreciate you, buddy. He says, this is an L, Halo Day, 1 OG Xbox, 500 million spent, probably 750 million by now. Play co-op with my sons every game. Stop the cap, but you're right, King. I'll be there in 3 months. So this is another thing that people bring up, the $500 million to develop Halo. 500 million is for the engine. It's for the 10-year budget to build the game, and as it goes along. They didn't spend $500 million last year to get to where we are now. But I get you, Old Dirty Gamer. You want to play with your son. I want to play with my son or my friends too, but we have to wait because, I mean, we could talk about it all night. 343's already made up their mind. At this point, I think they're at the point of no return. We got Nanopolymath who gives a $9 or £9 super chat. Says, why some thinking delay is bad, just catering to the moaners. Why can a delay not be given to 343? All have had a tough few years, more time to perfect their vision to succeed to the fullest. Okay, I have to break into discussion about this because Nano is saying something very, very reasonable. And his question is simply, why is it okay to delay every other game, but it's not okay to delay Halo?
Because it's Xbox. Go ahead, King.
King's like, can I go first?
Go ahead, King.
Can I go first?
They did it already. They delayed it from last year. It's over now. You got your year. That's it.
Weren't the Gears games delayed more than once, or did they just get one delay? I think Gears 2 was delayed once.
I think once.
Halo 3 was delayed once.
I don't remember.
All these games get delayed at some point in time. You had 1 year delay. You're not getting co-op at launch. Just accept the pill, all right? You're not getting Forge at launch. Just accept the pill. You're free to play multiplayer. You want to play with your friends and your buddies and your brothers and your sons and your cousins and your aunts and your nieces and your nephews. You want to do that? It's a multiplayer part of the game where you can pick up the controller and actually have fun. That's it. They're not telling you, hey, you can't play with your buddies. Actually, they're telling you you can play with all of your buddies. Every last one of them.
Cold words from a man with a very warm, big heart.
Right. It's like piercing words, but it's so softly and so calm, and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't
The
get this guy in
delivery.
a courtroom. He'll use some real tricky tactics. He thought I was
Yeah.
bad. Kylo Ken gives a $5 super chat. Says, Colt, you definitely gotta lock Erica and Lord King down to a permanent position on the XNC. They're great. Well, I hope you guys are having fun.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
She runs her own podcast, so we'll do a nice little plug for
We'll
that.
talk. We'll talk. No.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, she's definitely she knows what she's doing, so that's why I wanted to bring her on. And I've been watching her do her thing for quite a while, and it's so funny because we were talking pre-show, like we've kind of been on opposite sides of the line, the way some people are, and I've kind of cleaned up my act over the years, maybe a little. But no, it's all right. Mo B gives a $5 super chat. Says, Colt, and guess, will we see the campaign at Gamescom?
No.
Oh man, yeah. This is shoot. One of the guys I was talking to doesn't think we'll see campaign. I don't know why they're not showing campaign. Erica, what do you think they're going to do tomorrow?
No.
So people think they're not showing anything campaign related?
I think we're going to talk about the Halo release date, which I think is different from what most people expect. Mm-hmm. But I'm hearing we might not be seeing the updated campaign in motion tomorrow.
Sorry for my cat in the background. She wants to give her opinion.
That's a cat?
Yeah, it's a cat. Because I was gonna guess. My guess going into Gamescom.
I heard her. She goes, delay.
No, she's actually, but she's saying it because you asked about the Halo when we speak tomorrow. She said, "I don't think so. I don't think so."
This cat, she has to come into everything I do on this computer. But anyways, damn, what was the question?
Awesome.
About the whole
what was the question?
release date and everything. I mean, going into Gamescom, my guess was that they were going to announce the release date tomorrow. But I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, we were on Cat Wars for a bit.
Campaign,
the
campaign
gameplay. Do you think we're going to see campaign gameplay?
Well, I don't know.
It's kind
honestly,
of a dumb question. Like, how do we know? But
yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt like I remember the last time when they did re-show, Halo again. It was kind of quick on the campaign, and they mostly showed the multiplayer stuff. And I remember getting the sense of like, and I think we had conversations, like me and my friends, like maybe they don't want to show too much because of what happened before, like the backlash and the nitpicking and the zooming in on the pixels and all of that. So I kind of got that feeling, but that was then. Now we're already in August. This game is supposed to come out on holiday. I think people are expecting it, right? I mean, I would assume. So if they don't show it, and then after this news, and if they don't give a release date, people are going to be like, what is going on? So they have to do something. I'm thinking release date, and that'll at least bring some hype and some energy of like, okay, cool, it's coming, it's done. I think they would have to show something. Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Well, I'm with you on that. I want to welcome iSylar18, new channel member. He's got the Joanna Dark badge. If you're a channel member, you have access to like 8 or 9 custom emojis that I drew up. I'm a cartoonist, an illustrator, and a graphic designer, so I pour this stuff into my channel to try to make it unique and fun. He also leaves a $5 super chat. Thanks for this, iSylar. He says, personal opinion, but looking at Halo 4 and 5, it simply looks better to me in arts and graphic department than Halo 4 and 5. I mean, people don't give credit to 343, but I say that 4 and 5 are the best looking Halos in the series. And iSylar is saying that he or she, I think who knows? I don't even know what I am. But I think iSylar is saying that they like the way that Halo looks. And I didn't have as much of a problem last year. I just thought they needed to correct the lighting. The sun looked like it just didn't glow right. And the shadows weren't dark enough to be realistic. I've been outside. I work in photography and Photoshop and stuff. I've looked at stuff long enough to know how stuff looks, and those shadows are far too light. Digital Foundry broke down that there's really a lighting problem that made the game made it look cheap. But also, we already know that all the weapons and the armor have all of this war-torn texture work on them, which was missing because they wanted a clean look. think they made the right. So Erica, you're right. Like, they have every reason to show the campaign. They should be proud to show it because they've talked about all the polish they've done over the past year. Matthew Dillon gives a $20 super chat. He says, and this is an orange one. That's orange. That's a nice looking orange.
Yeah, right.
Nice contrast. He says, this is why I miss the old days when you bought the game and you put it in and you played a finished product. These days, game developers know they can release an unfinished game because of updating game with internet. Total BS, he says. And then he adds, I can't believe King threw you under the bus. No, he didn't say that. I'm just joking.
I was like, wow, really?
No, I'm just joking. Randolph Thor 19 gives a $5 super chat. The man of reason. The Randolph Thor 19. Man with a million. He says, tell the truth. Shame the devil. King doesn't want Halo delayed because he wants those knees. That's the real reason. He wants the knees from Jay Barry.
Yeah, let me explain. All right, so I have a bet going on with Jay Barry, right? And the bet was that Halo was going to release before Horizon. I already knew Horizon was going to be delayed, right? So we were trying to tell him, hey, man, don't take the bet. Don't take the bet. But he went headlong into the bet. So I already knew Halo was going to come out. Some form of fashion, it had to come out because you have to look at how everything is going. So a week later, Horizons gets delayed. Yay, bye. So now they already had the test flight for the multiplayer. The reason why they will not show any Halo campaign tomorrow, they might show the big team fight. They might show that.
Big team battle, yeah.
They might show a big team battle tomorrow. But I think they're going to have a Halo event, like a Halo event day, where you're going to see a little bit more of the campaign. You're going to see more of the multiplayer. You're going to see more of the texture work and more of a little bit of a deep dive into that stuff. I believe that they will have a couple of people sit down and talk about it. Some people from 343 to go into the game a little bit, because I think that game has its own merits to stand on its own. It doesn't need like E3 and it doesn't need a Gamescom in order to get hype. So I believe it needs to stand alone by itself and do so. So tomorrow you might see big team battle, but going forward, you will see some aspects of the campaign, and I do believe that they want the campaign to actually shock people. So from what we did see, I came up with a couple of theories with some of my Halo guys that I do talk to in the background, and I believe that a lot of people will be completely shocked by where this story goes to. And I think it's going to be a lot of aha and jaw-dropping moments with the story. And they don't want to lead anyone in any direction at this moment. But closer to launch, you're going to get a date that day when they do that little Halo event. And it's not going to be a little one. It's going to be enough to generate severe interest, because remember, this holiday season, they're going up against Battlefield. They're going against Call of Duty. And those are some big heavy hitters that they need to outshine. And it's going to take a lot. So they have to have all their ducks in a row. And that shot has to be on the mark. They can't miss this one. It has to be on the mark.
I hope so. Can you tell the audience to hit the like button for me? I've got a couple more to read. You got a strong voice that people listen to.
Please. Like right now, I got a couple of people that's watching. Please hit that like, share, follow. If you're not following, I don't know why you're not following, but statistics say that a lot of you guys are not following, and it's probably like 44% of the viewers are not following. So it doesn't cost
as many people that want co-op. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, right? No, that's 4%. That's the 4%. We want the 44% of you guys.
Wow.
Please follow, and like, and even write something down at the bottom. Come on, man. Let's get these comments going. Let's get some interaction. Awesome. Please, come on.
Thank you. We're almost at 500 likes. And if you're watching, this is the Xbox Newscast podcast, or XNC, and I'm here with Erica. Erica's for the win, and Iron Lords, King David. I'm saying this all without looking. I have it memorized, I think. No, this is a new show I do. This is episode 16. We're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, live on YouTube. I didn't even send a tweet out when we did the show. I just sent one out and said that we should check out, that people should come in here and listen to us rap about Halo Infinite, because I think the conversation has gotten a little more less bloody, I suppose. But we got Matthew Dillon brags a $5 super chat. I paid a little over $200 for 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate. So he got it for a third of the price, basically. That's terrible math, Colteastwood. But Yeah, he got a great deal. I upgraded mine in 2019. I got like an extra 2 years for the price of gold or something. It's amazing. So yeah, I'll have it forever. Gaz from Game On Daily, one of my best friends. He gives a £5 super chat all the way from the beautiful London in the UK. He says, I've spent more on super chats than games. Thanks to Xbox Game Pass. Oh, and delay nice. Halo Infinite. So he throws the grenade and just walks away.
Yeah, see you on Saturday for that, what you just did.
But you know, King, you're right. Like when the game launches, I am going to jump on it day one. And I know people are like, I don't want to wait because of you who want to play it in co-op. Yep. Oh boy. Kryptonian says, perfect example of broken release title, Cyberpunk, which we haven't brought up yet. Same scenario as Infinite. It resulted in lawsuits from constant problems.
That
Erica,
a lot of delays.
Can you compare Cyberpunk to the state of Halo Infinite?
Cyberpunk was just such a circus around that whole thing. I mean, you had the delays upon delays, right? And then you had the whole crunch story that came out. It was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes for that game, and it did not launch in a really good state at all. It's broken. And that alone is reason to not put it with Halo right now. We don't know how Halo is going to launch.
Thank you.
You know, it could launch perfectly. We don't know. I'm sure it's going to have a little server hiccups here and there, but if the campaign works and it's nothing crazy broken, then I don't think we should be talking about Cyberpunk. Yeah,
I don't think it's going to run at 13 FPS on an Xbox One. Like they have everybody testing. You saw the video footage of the interview they had, like this this crappy Walmart tree stand with like an Xbox One, 1S, Series S, X, and a Ouya and a Soldier Boy console, all like chained together so everybody could try out the game. So I'm confident that the games will run great on the older hardware. That's the challenge, you know. It drops down to 30, and then the game can run.
I mean, can you imagine Xbox, Microsoft taking it off the store? That's how broken it is. I mean, no.
Oh yeah.
And Cyberpunk, that happened with PlayStation. They took it off. Well, so I mean,
the reason why they took it off the store because they don't like to give you back your money. You know, Microsoft has a great refund. Yeah, they have a great refund policy, and they already have that stuff set in place, and that's the only reason why. You know,
they had big fights of people asking for money back. So the best thing to do is to cut off as many people that would be sending that request.
Take it out, but they put it back though. They put it back.
It's there,
yeah, and you know, it shot up again, and
that's a mess for everybody. That whole Cyberpunk thing.
It was bad. It was bad.
I look at. I'm going with you guys. As far as comparisons to Cyberpunk, I just look at it as purely as if it's not ready, it's okay to delay. And I think Cyberpunk should have delayed another 6 or 8 months or a year. I would have been okay with that. But I still played the game day one like a fraud, and I love the game. Yeah, it's not anything groundbreaking.
That's the question that I wanted to ask you, because people keep bringing up, and I'm the guy that waited, right? So let's say I'm the Forge guy. Right, I'm the co-op guy. I'm the Forge guy, and I waited, and I'm going to wait because I believe my dollars carry, right? And I'm gonna vote with my wallet. But you played the game. Was there anything that, like you said, was broken so bad that you didn't enjoy yourself? Did you enjoy yourself playing Cyberpunk?
I didn't have anything that I would whine about other than one side quest that was part of like, No, I wouldn't whine enough to. I told my friends, just play it. It's not going to be that much better.
See?
Hey, let me say something here. Let me do a little public service announcement. As I type this to a good friend of mine, Brian Harris, who's followed and supported the channel, Walmart has Series X's on the site for all access. So I'm typing that as I write it. I've seen it in the chat a couple times. As of a few minutes ago, you're able to get an all access Series X on Walmart's site. I don't know if that's North America.
I'm going there right
by the time I get that answer, I don't know if it'll matter. But if you're looking for one, please try and find one. It's so impossible to get a PS5 and Series X right now. But you guys are incredible. Let me get back to the next set of questions. We've got... Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Isylar, the new channel member, says, my worry is that I have assassinations... where you can do the assassinations from behind, and co-op is missing. What else might be absent or not functioning properly? We talked about that a bit. We're kind of in the camp that we don't really think there's a lot wrong with the game, or very much at all. I think what they know that the campaign's ready to rock. The co-op is another animal. They'd rather wait. That's how we're sitting. Total Warrior gives a £8 super chat or £9 super chat. Thank you, Total Warrior. He's got the Apex Legends with a Halo avatar. He says, as Erica mentioned, Halo 5 launched missing content, and many players left quickly and didn't come back. A lot of casual players may drop off after 2 months. Will they come back in 6 months for Forge?
Probably not.
The thing with Forge is, I know a lot of us are like, I don't care about Forge. I don't use it. I don't build my own maps. But what Forge does is if Halo launched with 10 maps, Forge gives you a large number of new maps that become really popular in the community, gives you extra content that people are creating that may become some of your favorites. So that's missing. And I hope that people don't drop off. And like in 3 to 5 months after the game launches, I may not come right back to co-op. I may have moved on to something else by April or May.
True.
BK Born Gaming gives a $10 super chat. Says, I just want to send support to you, King, and my homie and sister, Erica. And he's got the fist bump. So thank you, BK Born Gaming.
Oh, BK. That's my dude right there. What's up, BK?
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Shout out to BK for showing up and giving the support. Erica, you're well loved, so that's good to know. Aww. Twisted Metal gives a $5 super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, they just want to crap on Xbox for delaying a game, but they didn't say anything when a smaller game like The Last of Us was delayed like 4 times. Well, there was a lot of argument. There's a lot of people talking crap about The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2's delay, so it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Back to Total Warrior with a £49 super chat. It says, casuals play the custom games. Oh, this goes into my Forge thing. And user-made content using the Forge mode. So, I don't know. I mean, right, Erica, they had to make a decision. What are we going to cut so we can release on time? Forge is one of those things where they said it can wait. I mean, that's their call, right?
I was going to say earlier, too, like if we had to choose, or Colt, if you had to choose, right? Like, hey, we have these 4 things and 2 of them got to be delayed. I mean, you'd probably pick Forge and co-op, right? I mean, campaign, solo, and multiplayer.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I gotta have the campaign, and I want to play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
I was in the flighting. It's so fun, and I'm going to die so many times when I play.
Yeah.
Matthew, we got Matthew Dillon. He uses one of my least favorite words. He says, ponies want Halo to be released, hoping it falls off that way that ponies will talk crap about it and brag. I own a PS5 and Series X. No hate here. Yeah, Matt, then don't. Can I call you Matt? Don't use the ponies thing. Just say PlayStation crazies. Yeah, you get the Xbox and pony thing all the time, but what are you going to do about it? God Zealot says, watch 343 show us a banger of a preview tomorrow out of nowhere. Dang, I really hope they do.
Big team
and
battle.
If King's right, if they show that big team battle, because we've only seen like montages, that's going to be fun. Matthew Dillon gives a $5, says, everyone who likes the stream is a real Xbox fan. Oh, he's tricking people into hitting the like button. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Isaro Garcia says they should delay it and conquer next year. Now, this is interesting. Let's go ahead and get into that release date. So I was talking to somebody today about that we will get a release date tomorrow at Gamescom. That's one of the things we're hearing about Gamescom that we can say is one of those rumors that might be really true. But what do you guys think about Halo getting a mid or early December release date, way past Black Friday, way past the 20th anniversary? Erica, take us into this December Halo release date.
Not to bring us back to Cyberpunk, but I remember when they said we're delaying it to December, I was like, why? That's because it's after Black Friday, like you said. Mm-hmm. It's so close to the end of the year. It's like, why not just go to next year at that point? That's kind of where I lie with that.
They promised
I don't
holiday
know,
2021, Erica.
It's a holiday.
It is holiday technically. You're right. So you got it's competitors. You got Battlefield in October. You got Call of Duty early November. But after those couple of weeks of that Call of Duty kind of running its course, like always, if it's hot and then people kind of want to play something else, right? Mm-hmm. I say end of November at the latest. I think that's kind of like, or before Black Friday, I guess. That's kind of the sweet spot, I think. But maybe if it gets to that point where they really don't want to compete with those other games, or it's not polished yet, then they might have to. And I don't know if that's a good idea. I think at that point, we're kind of talking about that delay again. Like, why not just push it to next year?
What? A delay it, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, yeah. It just seems so late. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't work at all. It seems late. Because December, for me anyways, I'm only speaking from my experience, that's kind of like the backlog time. That's kind of like, you're kind of winding down the year and
you already spent November playing the big ones, right?
You missed that kind of window. And I don't know if you guys feel like this when it comes to Xbox, that fall holiday window where you just feels like good to be on your Xbox. I have memories of that, like playing Call of Duty when it came out, or Gears or whatever when it came out, and you're like playing it around Thanksgiving, with the cousins or whatever. You're gonna just miss that? I don't know. It seems late. It seems late to me.
King, what do you think about Halo missing the 20th anniversary date?
It won't happen.
Too.
You think they're going to hit the 20th anniversary?
The only thing that I'm
mark?
worried about is the Forza launching the week before. And I don't want it to cannibalize sales. But you have to look at where they're at Game Pass now. They should be at closing in on 27 million. Or they probably passed the 27 million mark by now. I had predicted by the time the 25th rolls across this year, they should be at 32 million, pushing the boundaries. So you have to see where it lies in Game Pass, because right now you had EA with the Codemasters and all those racing games that are in there. Forza should eat up a good chunk of all that racing FOMO in that period of time. And then you're looking at the shooter hangover. I think the 18th, from the 15th to the 18th, is a good release date, because it removes it from Battlefield and it removes it in enough space from Call of Duty. So I believe you releasing a campaign at that period of time for those people that have finished the campaign in Call of Duty, because isn't Battlefield just launching the multiplayer, no campaign, right?
There's no campaign at all.
Exactly. So where's the outcry there, right?
There is outcry.
Yeah, from me.
From you, yeah, probably from you.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, you matter all of a sudden?
No,
and I don't.
I believe everyone matters when it comes to the stuff that they want the most, right? I'm pretty much forced to play with my friends on Battlefield. I'm sorry, it's a lock. I'm in there. That's it. I have no choice when it comes to this. But I'm the one that plays the campaign. So if they say no campaign, I feel kind of left out. I feel like, wow. For all these years I supported you and I thought that was a pillar, and I'm no longer supported in that place. But I still have to spend because my friends are going to force me. But locking me down on that day, I believe they're going to launch on the 15th. The 15th to the 18th seems like a great date. So I don't know in between. It's those 3 days I'm really iffy on. So I really believe from the 15th to the 18th they will launch. They will make their anniversary during that period of time. I believe so.
Okay. Well, the other holiday game, this one comes from Risk It for the Biscuit, gives an Australian $10 super chat. He says, off Halo topic, I want to say it sucks that the Call of Duty Alpha is only on PlayStation, man. Do you think it's a bad move for Activision to support a sinking ship like PlayStation? Then he puts a laughing and crying emoji. Absolutely ridiculous to call the PlayStation a sinking ship, but they have marketing rights, I believe. Xbox had them for a while. Yeah, I mean, that's totally normal. And it's fine. There's plenty of people on PlayStation to do that alpha for Call of Duty. Yeah. I don't know. This panel, not so excited about Call of Duty Vanguard, and that's all right. Obi-Wan, one of the moderators and a true friend of mine, gives a $2 super chat. Says, the king, Obi-Wan has been starting up his own hobby of doing 3D printing. He's 3D printed Lara Croft's Magnum pistol. He did the Magnum pistol for Halo. He's done an Assassin's Creed logo. He's gone crazy with this machine. So he's using up the world's supply of plastic right now and painting and creating these amazing things. Go follow him on Twitter at Obi-Wan for the win. I think I got that right. I don't look at his full name. I just call him Obi-Wan. But yeah, he's on Twitter. He's put up pictures of these things. He's painting them himself. He's a crafty guy. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We got Jedi Knight Peter, an Australian $5, and a really cute dog for a profile picture. I'm a dog person. No offense to your cat there, Erica, but
she's fine. She's asleep, I think. She don't hear.
Okay, so she didn't hear me. So he says, just wanted to show some love to all the XNC cast in the chat. And by the way, the chat really likes both of you here. So I'm glad they've given you a warm welcome. Lord Starkiller X Series X 01 says $10 super chat. I will just focus on single player campaign and multiplayer. Yes, we will too. We don't have any other choice. Godzilla gives it $2, says makes no sense. Halo Infinite multiplayer is free anyway. Yeah, people get into the Game Pass argument with what's free and what's free to play. But you know, that campaign is supposed to be a paid for situation if you don't have Game Pass anyway, so I'm glad they're delivering. Lord Starkiller has another one. He says, great XNC podcast. Halo Infinite single player campaign and multiplayer for me. Would rather have a full baked product release, but do not use Forge or co-op too often. So he's with me, like he'd rather have it all release at once and be its best, but we're not going there. It's not happening. Shafiq, I'm not going to say that right. Shafiq Baker gives I'm terrible. I just learned to read yesterday. It was such a great moment for me. He said, I just asked my 7-year-old son if Halo Infinite does not have co-op. Will that stop you from playing? Now, this is awesome. Like, I have a 10-year-old son. I like to ask him questions like this because he doesn't have a dog in the fight. He doesn't care which console's winning. So he asked his 7-year-old son, if Halo Infinite does not have co-op, will that stop you from playing it? He responded with a hard no. Love the show, Colt. Kids are so honest. I love it. Matthew Dillon's got another one. Imagine Xbox releases Halo Console Edition this holiday. That would be huge for anniversary. I just can't imagine them setting aside consoles. We would have heard it by now. I think in April we heard about the Cyberpunk console. It's supposed to come out in November.
You can't even get a console, period.
Yeah.
That's true too. Yeah.
Jose Linares says co-op preference of 25% people should delay a single player story. That campaign that 75% prefer to play solo. Why is 75% prevent them from playing? Yeah. So he's like, look at the numbers. I keep seeing these polls. People say like 4% played co-op. I've heard 43% played co-op across the series. Get your numbers out of my face, man. I'm just trying to do what's best for everybody. Don Otaku says the gunk is coming in 2021 and will be at Gamescom. We've only seen like 13 seconds of footage. We talked about that a minute ago. But one last one. Total Warrior just sent in a 450 pound super chat. I'm learning these currencies. I need to get out of the US and go see the world. That would help. He says, but I can't right now. I'm stuck in the house. He says, is Fall Guys coming to Xbox this year? Yeah, where's Fall Guys? It got delayed a while ago, but I've not heard anything since. Erica, what's going on with Fall Guys?
You got to play it on PC. I don't know what to tell you.
It's on PlayStation. It was on.
It's on PlayStation. No, I mean it does suck for those waiting. I didn't know it was still. I was delayed. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cool game, but you're not missing too much. It's cool, but it kind of gets old.
Very sad.
I played it. Yeah, I played it on PS Plus. I played it. It's one of those things like I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I got so far and then I blew like the last jump and I could see the appeal, but I didn't have any friends to play with because my PlayStation friends like never my Xbox friends who own PlayStation never get on.
I thought you was gonna say it didn't launch with co-op. Never mind.
Let's get into something a little happier as we round out here. We'll start with Erica. We were talking about Game of the Year contenders. This is kind of a cool topic that'll just last a couple of minutes here. But Erica, what do you think is the Game of the Year contender? Because there aren't a lot of big games, big new like AAA blockbusters this year. So what are you seeing? Like you can name a couple if you need to.
It was a very interesting year. Like for me, I've been really enjoying it. But yeah, if we're talking like AAA, big budget, like Game of the Year, right? You have this idea of Game of the Year. It's got to stand out. And honestly, when Returnal first came out, I remember thinking like, this is niche.
That's a
Shut up,
game.
King.
Listen. I just remember thinking this is like a niche title. I don't think it would even be in the conversation. But now, and granted, we haven't hit the holiday yet. Things can change. But right at this moment, I'm thinking maybe Returnal could get in there, you know? Death's Door, I see the chat. Death's Door is amazing. I think that gets in. I think that's a game that has a chance. There's always that one indie that kind of slips in there. There's one game I still need to play. It Takes Two. I have not played it yet, and I'm hearing hearing it's amazing.
It's amazing.
So, it's amazing. I'm playing it with my 10-year-old son, and he was just asking me last night because I'm trying to get through Psychonauts. He's like, "Dad, can we play It Takes Two? We're on the last 2 levels." It hits all the right. It never does the same thing twice.
One of the best co-op games I've ever played.
Yes.
So now you like co-op, King?
No, I'm not saying I don't like co-op. When the game is totally based around co-op,
I know. I'm kidding, but no.
Play it though; it's great.
My husband, we're waiting for the right day to like play it. He, when he's not working, but that's one I do need to play because then I feel like I would understand. Okay, maybe this is the game. Maybe this is that smaller title that because there's always that smaller title that like gets in, And Death's Door I think has that chance, but. Like I said, I need to play that game too.
After the show, tell your husband, hey, we need to play It Takes Two. That game will bond 2 people together. Like my son and I are we're bonded really well, and because he likes gaming and he's such a cool kid. But like while we play, we cooperate together, and we've built this thing together. And one of my good friends was playing the game with his new girlfriend. And I swear, like that was one of the catalysts that brought them closer together. Wow. And I haven't really talked to him about that, but they were first dating. And I could see how that happened because it's about a husband and a wife coming together and working together, whether they stay together or not. I don't know yet because I haven't finished, but So absolutely one of the best games. So did you cover everything you think is going to be game of the year? I want to.
Other than that, I mean, I know people are going to think of like Ratchet and Clank and but as far as like bigger games, it's kind of one of those people. I think those who only play AAAs think this was a down year. Like, what came out? Like everything's delayed, no Horizon, is Halo coming? Like, they're just kind of waiting for these big bangers. But for me, I've been playing all these like smaller titles. And I'm just like, man, I know what I'm going to have a list. I'm going to have some great games for myself. But as far as like the award shows and all that, it's kind of an interesting year. I'm really looking forward to seeing what gets in there and if I'm right about any of these. And I think 2021, it was good for me. I know the outside, sometimes they don't think that. But in terms of game of the year, I think it's going to be very interesting what is nominated. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. What about you, King? Have you been keeping an eye on what you think is game of the year?
Yes, actually I have. And being that I play a lot of older games, because I would have yelled out Hades, but that was last year. Anyway, but it's this year for me because it's new in Game Pass. I honestly believe Halo, and I'm going to let Erica peg me down to this. I honestly believe Bonnie Ross is going to get up there and get the award for Game of the Year, which would be Halo.
Okay. All right.
Best visuals will probably go to either Forza Horizon or Ratchet and Clank. I think they're going to battle for that because I think Ratchet and Clank actually did some really stellar stuff. Yep. They pushed the boundaries. And you have to give credit where credit is due. I believe that studio has always put their best foot forward. So, audio cues, you might get audio cues from some musical rhythm game, probably. We have a couple of musical rhythm games that should be launching in September to October, and can I give you an out, King, about Halo Infinite if people try to come at you for being right or wrong?
What's that? I think if Halo releases in November, it might be out of the Keighley Awards as far as it's.
The deadline.
I mean, that's been a thing before we even talked about it.
I give Death Doors then the win.
So just make sure you say, hey, I think if Halo Infinite meets the criteria to be included, that Bonnie Ross could be up on the podium. You can make that claim and say if Keighley doesn't include it in the criteria, then you can't come at me. Then we'll get you covered that way.
Listen, thank you. I do
The
appreciate it. I mean,
technicalities.
if it's
Protect
on
that
about-
5%.
I got you. It's 33 and a third. If it's on the ballot, I believe Halo wins. If it's on the ballot,
Wow.
I honestly believe so. If it's on the ballot, I believe it wins. I believe it's going to have a lot of heart. I really don't think you guys are really ready for what's going to happen. I really think.
Yeah, I think the heart thing is what will help it stand out. But Erica doesn't know yet. But I did some of the things that just happen, and the way that Take-Two just gets you is going to be a real strong competition against a lot of other games. And it has been a weird year. Erica's absolutely right. It's been the year of the indie. Yeah, and I think It Takes Two is an indie, really.
But it might. It Takes Two might take best co-op game of the year. Well, if best co-op game of the year pops up, It Takes Two walks away with it.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Total Warrior says with a 450-pound super chat, he says Halo Infinite has serious chance of game of the year. It already has been nominated for many of the Gamescom awards by the judges. There could be big for 343, and 343 needs it. Like they're like at the front of the League of Studios for Xbox. They have to set the example and set precedents. That's why I want it to come out the best possible.
You know what? I just thought of something. We're talking about the deadlines and everything. Demon Souls didn't make the deadline last year.
Oh,
it came out. Right. It came out later.
It was December, wasn't it?
So, well, with the
and you're a big Souls fan. That one got you.
Or after that, yeah. So, and I loved it, of course, beat it and everything. But that's possible too. That
Erica, do remasters or remakes get nominated for Game of the Year? Because my personal Game of the Year over It Takes Two is the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster. Just got me like no other game. Like, my gosh. Yeah. But I mean, I wasn't trying to knock that down, but I don't know. Like what? No.
I was going to say that's always a debate. That I've heard that debate a lot. Well, it's a remaster, it shouldn't be in there. But then we had years where like PUBG was nominated for, you know what I mean? We've had like crazy games that, not that that's a remaster,
Overwatch
but yeah, you would think that's not Game of the Year, like that's not Game of the Year material, but then it gets in.
Come at you with that. Don't go there. The Great
and then
Bill.
Remember, Resident Evil 2 was nominated. So
there you go. There's your answer.
It's possible, yeah. So that was like a debate
that's a remake, though. That's a remake.
Well, so is
Demon Souls.
Yeah.
No, that's a remaster. Like
that's a remake.
No, man. No. If you look at that game, that is board for board, the same exact thing. No.
I'm with Erica on this one because
King, from the ground up. Yeah. You're gonna do that. Yeah, you're doing the same thing.
You know what?
But it's from the ground up.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
It's possible.
But the question is like, does Demon Soul hit all of the things that the competition does? Like, does it get you? The gameplay is obviously finely tuned. The visuals are top tier. Demon Souls. Yeah. Does the story? Did the story make you cry? Probably not. It's like
it's Demon Souls. No, Demon Souls. No. It's like the thing. It's like when Sekiro was nominated, and I loved Sekiro. But I remember thinking, like, I don't think this is going to win.
Sekiro won, didn't it?
What I mean? But it won. Yeah, it won.
That's right.
And even though I love the game, realistically, I was like, I don't know if it would win that. And then, sure enough, it did.
There's a reason why I stopped with that Metacritic and all that stuff, and that's Sekiro. That game did that to me. Oh, it won Game of the Year. So, when you go to Target and you get to buy 2 games, you get the 1 game free?
Mm-hmm.
That was my 1 game free, right? So I'm like, oh man, let me get Sekiro because it won Game of the Year. I hate that game with a passion because I'm not good at soul games. And that's the last time my decision is based on who won or who cares about what. I said, that's it. It's over.
That struggle must have been real.
What?
That's a tough game.
The first guy that I fought beat the hell out of me like 1,000 times. Bloodborne. I didn't know that you're not supposed to beat the werewolf inside the place. I stood there for 2 days trying to kill that guy.
The first werewolf?
Yes. You just leave.
Call end the podcast.
Oh my gosh! I'll just block him. No.
End the podcast.
Do you see how inept I am with soul games?
That was too funny.
I am terrible at them, and I I played like the first level of Sekiro, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with
People
you.
love them
They're
so much.
they're
I'm just so
tough.
terrible.
They're tough games.
I don't know.
Those are brutal.
I'm trying to
games.
get your guys' like links in there. People are still chatting and still having a good time. Like we've gone so far over. So King's got his in there. I think I've got mine with It Takes Two so far. Although I wanted to give to Mass Effect because Mass Effect made me laugh a lot. I sat here. I have a couch behind me where I play games when the desk isn't here. I sat here and cried by myself playing Mass Effect trilogy in those moments when Thane was in the hospital and just the soft, tender moments. I love that game so much, and it's a remake, so a remaster.
Yeah.
Erica, now is the time. Tell everybody where they can find you and where your podcast is, what it's called, what you guys are doing. Share it out. Let people know. I put a link to your channel so they can go hit the sub button. Takes a minute. Hit that link. It's up there if you scroll up a couple clicks and go hit subscribe there. But Erica, who are you?
Yeah, hit up that link because that's where you can find my podcast. It's a 2-person podcast, and we are live every other Saturday, 5:30 Pacific time. So this coming Saturday is our next episode. And we cover a lot of news and different genres, different games, what we're playing and stuff like that. Hot topics. Give it a shot. We're small, we're growing. But my channel, if you're into Souls-like stuff, I'm your girl. Go check it out. I do cover other games like indie games, stuff like Battlefield. You'll catch stuff like that there. I'm sure some Halo will be up there too once we're playing. I pretty much, whatever I'm into and whatever I'm passionate about, you're gonna hear about it, and you're gonna watch me play. You're gonna see me fight these bosses and these challenging games that King and Colt cannot do. so I can. I also stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and you can find me by just searching Ericuts for the Win, twitch.tv/Ericuts for the Win. That name is how you can find me everywhere. So Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. I'm everywhere with that name. God. Okay, that's me. So yeah, I'm not super active on there, but I have one. So that's I really enjoyed my time here, Colt. Thank you for having me. And King, it's so good, catching up with you as well. And thank you guys. Hit the like button.
Yes, thank you, King. The people know who you are, but shameless plug. Shameless plug. Who are you? Where are you at?
Lord King David, Iron Lords podcast, Sundays at 1 p.m., football season, 11 a.m. Oh, God, it's going to be hell trying to wake up. Because usually I'm just getting in from work. KOS, you see these wonderful statues? Well, if you go to Iron Lords podcast and you subscribe to our channel, which is free, just hit the button. You get a chance to see these wonderful statues. You're going to see me talk about Darth Maul, that's not the next KOS. I just finished editing XM Studios The Lizard. I'm going to give you a deep dive into who the Lizard is and what he means to me. This is not my only room. I have 3 large rooms of statues, so you get a chance to see the Red Room. And Darth Maul, I have a wall of Maul. He's my favorite Star Wars character, and I'm going to have a deep dive into this character. So you get a chance to see what the Red Room is and why it's called the Red Room. And that's going to be the first time anyone ever gets the chance to see that room. I also have the Purple Room where it's like for the Royal Mutants and Eternals. So, you guys get a chance to see some great stuff. Also, DCX Open Mic, we rebranded. It's called the Legion of Doom. Fridays at 9 p.m. that Eastern Standard Time. So come check us out where we talk about like that Spider-Man trailer that just dropped. I know y'all are going to run to the internet right now to go check that out. But it definitely came out and it's amazing.
Oh, you love the leaks.
Yes, sir.
I've got a couple supers, but we are ready to rock out of here. And I got to let these 2 go because I've been keeping them forever. This is a very, very long show. I'll read these really quick and then we'll sign out. We got Raiden Blade says, "Oh my gosh, you people are still on. I need to sleep. Just finished WBG, left the room and boom, came on. Now you guys, glad to see Erica and King. Kenbo559 gives a $5, says, follow Eric Cuts for the win and the Iron Lords, great positive gamers. Keep it going. Don't you love the support? The community
That's actually the hubby. That's my hubby right there. My
I guess he had to do that, but no. Kenbo, all right, awesome. Thank you so much for having her on here, and he was probably petting the cat when she was making
keeping her
noises,
busy, keeping her
happy. Oh man. What we do without pets during the pandemic. They are the best. Ricky Felon says, a $20 super chat says, can't wait for tomorrow's show. Awesome show tonight as well. Cole, always keep rocking. One last one from Raiden Blade, £5 super chat says, I can see Halo Infinite having some heart-wrenching moments. I can see gamers crying, loving Psychonauts 2, having the accolades it's getting. So yeah, absolutely incredible. This is the Xbox Newscast Podcast, episode 16. Feels like I'm glad I'm doing this, meeting great people like Erica, follow her, and of course, staying in touch with the amazing Lord King David. Thank you so much for being on the show. We'll be on demand on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts in about an hour after the show wraps. So check that out if you are in the UK or Australia or Papua New Guinea. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Wave goodbye. And if you're on camera, say goodbye. You guys are awesome. We will see you soon. And as always, guys, enjoy everything. Try not to get any fights. Be nice. Come on, people. Be nice.